Thank you for your statement, Minister. I very much welcome the focus on enabling a greater supply of social housing. I think that's absolutely essential to get to resolve many of the issues we've been debating this afternoon. But also, I would like to seek your views on talking about homeless people as human beings and not simply numbers and statistics. Has the government plans to repeal the Vagrancy Act of 1824? We're aware that the Vagrancy Act is still in force in parts in Wales, and it does criminalise people who are attempting to live on the streets and who are attempting to create survival strategies whilst living on the streets. And we know that this is a pernicious piece of 19th century legislation. There is no place on a modern statute book. So I'd be grateful if the government would outline any plans they would have to repeal that act, but also then introduce new rights for people who are living on the streets. We know, for example, that people who are rough sleeping do not have access to the medical support that they require, but neither do they have access to things that many of us would take for granted in our daily lives, like access to fresh, clean drinking water, for example. So we as well as repealing the legislation that criminalises people, we also need to ensure that people have the sorts of rights that many people take for granted. And finally, Minister, I heard your replies earlier on issues around substance misuse. But I would emphasise to you that I believe that creating a holistic approach to dealing with substance misuse and mental health, which does affect and impact many, many people who are homeless, would impact the ability of people then to sustain their lives in the future. We recognise, I think there's a wide recognition, that at the moment we simply do not have a holistic approach to policy in place, where we deal with substance misuse in one place, we deal with mental health, and we deal with housing separately. We need to bring these areas together to enable us to ensure that people who have found themselves homeless are able to be sustained, not simply for one night, but able to rebuild their lives.